Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. So in this photograph, I assume this is of you and your family. So it's your... Okay, so is this a professional photograph?
I can't remember which one I sent you. What is
That
it?
does happen. Okay, so it's a photo of this beautiful family in sunglasses. There are 3 kids.
Yeah.
The 2 males are wearing striped shirts. I assume that's you in the background with a daughter in the front holding up a little puppy. I guess, well, the man in the photo is holding up a little puppy.
Oh,
You could be standing on a field, could be a baseball field.
That was the day we got our little puppy. That was the day we brought Liberty home. Yeah.
Liberty. Wow, it's quite a name for a dog. Liberty.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful early family shot getting a puppy is of course, it's going to be very joyous. Whoa. Betsy, this is a lot. Because, okay, what you don't know is I have had cycles of dogs in my life, right?
Okay.
At one point we had 6 dogs. Now we have 5 dogs. Lived long lives, like super long lives.
Wow.
But get them as puppies, and then they died and they passed and all this stuff. And now we have a new cycle. And there's something very... Yeah, I think Jon Stewart just this week was talking about how he got his one puppy years ago and that his puppy died, and he was just crying on camera just remembering his dog. And
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if you're somebody who's not a dog person or whatever, you're just like, yeah, whatever, what's the big deal? But in your case, Liberty, and in your case, this family photo. Okay, so you chose it for a reason. Why are we looking at this?
Again, it was, I would say, one of the happiest days of our lives. Picking out that dog. And it was so funny because, again, I go back to the whole, like, me wanting to be perfect all the time. So it wasn't, I grew up with dogs, but it really wasn't on my radar to get my own dog. Because I know, as the mom who does all the work, even though everybody's going to promise that they're going to do the work and walk the dog and feed the dog, I knew it was going to fall on my shoulders. But so we had not really discussed the dog issue. And one day we were driving home from church, and my husband turns around to the kids and says, "Kids, I think it's time for a dog." And I looked at him and I thought, well, can we not discuss this, please? So they're, of course, cheering and so excited. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, here we go. So that was pretty funny because that was kind of how Matt rolled.
Right.
And so we ended up, I got to pick out what kind of dog we wanted. So I wanted this British cream golden retriever, and we found one, not far from our home. And that day was just so joyous and so fun.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And that dog, she just, through all our lives, she was just there, and, soaking up the good, the bad, the ugly, the tears. And I just think that having her taught us so many things, unconditional love, and just to enjoy the simple things in life.
So, Betsy, like, I'm just showing up and I'm just listening to you, and so what I see and who I see is a person who's both conscious of this idea of the great life, a perfect life, happiness, goodness, which is, it takes a certain kind of ability to be naive, to be able to, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is as a negative, as a criticism, but you kind of have to be naive to kind of see the bright side so consistently. And you do radiate that now. Like, you have this energy of just being bright and joyous, and also the choice of these 2 photos, or of how you're framing it is so positive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the kind of the flip side of that, the reality of it, the sort of the more adult, mature side of it, is to say at the same time, simultaneously, here's this other side of life, right?
Exactly. You nailed it.
Okay, no, look, this is how my podcasts go. Imagine there was a question there, and answer that one.
I would say you are spot on, and it is for me. It has been. Let's see. How should I say this? I kind of giggle at your word naive, but that is actually really quite true. I um I get bamboozled all the time by my kids too because I'm just, trusting and thinking everybody's doing the right thing all the time. And, I have teenagers, so of course they're not. But I, um, I guess I grew up with a father that believed he was just so joyous and never complained. I never really heard my dad complain ever. And
Mm,
so it was such a gift to give to me.
mm-hmm,
And I don't like to complain. I feel like I went into this life thinking, wow, here I am, a young bride to a physician. We're going to, have this great life. And then, we had three healthy kids and, the cute dog that added to just our wonderful life. And then
mm-hmm,
all of a sudden it flipped and, life got hard. And I would start to ask the question sometimes, like, why me, God? Like, why me? I just couldn't believe that this had happened to me. And then I
mm-hmm,
would stop myself and say, well, why not me? I mean, this is
mm,
life, right? I mean, I'm not any more special than somebody else that lives down the street from me. This is real life. And
mm-hmm,
so I
mm-hmm,
have always kind of I've approached it as it is fun because life, I believe, is what you make of it. I tell my kids all
mm-hmm.
the time, if you think your life is going to suck, guess what? It will.
Yeah.
Um, and I also tell them, if you think it can't get any worse, guess what? It can. So, we count our blessings every day, and that's how I start my day is being grateful
Mm,
because I have had a great life. It has not been easy and it has not always been great. We've had a lot of sad days and hard days. And I have three very different children, all with their own,
mm,
challenges. Great kids. But woof, some of them have given me a run for my money. But
hmm,
I just think that when you're in it, when you're going through it, you need to have hope that things are going to get better. And they will.
mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm,
will get better.
mm-hmm.
But when you don't have hope, that's when things can get really, really bad.
Okay, so you don't know this, but um, hmm, yeah. So right now, I'm living in Hong Kong, and the the period I've been going through over the past few years has been very challenging. And I'm very look. My name means joy, right? Ran in Hebrew means joyous, and most people who know me know that I like to giggle and laugh. And my old roommate used to call me ambiance because when I'd come into a room, I was the one who would uplift and make people feel happy, and that's kind of very similar to you. It's just like this idea that the world can be a very cold place. It can be,
Hmm.
life can be very hard. And if you've lived, you've seen some stuff. You've seen stuff,
Yeah.
and just listening to you talk has hit home
Mm-hmm.
like really deeply because to be honest, this past year, I've also been asking myself, what's the point?
Mhm.
It's been very difficult. And I don't know if you're the kind of person who thinks that things happen for a reason, fate, whatever, and we've just met as an accident, and
Mhm.
here we are, and this is the conversation we're having. So very well, so it's super inspiring that you'd sit down to write a book, which is a service. It's sort of saying, well, this is my experience, and I'm going to put it out into the world for others to learn from.
Mhm.
But where did that catalyst come from for you to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to write this.
Mhm.
I'm going to share my story.
Well, it started when I'm a real estate agent, so
Hmm.
and I love my job, and I'm a landlord, investor, a flipper. I went to school for interior design, so I'm more artsy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a writer. So when we got to North Carolina, Matt's depression hit pretty hard, and he literally became a person I didn't recognize. He was
Oh wow.
also a very joyous person, had never struggled with depression before in his life. He loved life, he was adventurous, he was funny. He was kind of exhausting to be around because he was just go go go. His motto was, "We got to get it all in." So I
Yeah.
mean, it
Oh,
was,
nice.
yeah. He was super. He was awesome. He liked to grill. He did the lawn. He liked to go bike riding. We went skiing a lot. And then all of a sudden, this depression hit him, and it was like smack, just hit him hard. He wouldn't get off the couch. He wouldn't mow the lawn. It was just like, and it happened very, very
Oh wow.
fast. So, and he was working. He was working every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were new in town. I didn't know anybody. And so I would walk in my neighborhood and just look at pretty houses and kind of just have conversations with God and say,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is happening. I need guidance. I have no idea what to do here. And so it was literally a whisper that just said, right. And so I
Mm.
started journaling every day. And that's how the book came to fruition, because it literally is my letters to God and my journal entries that documented every single day of those awful 3 months.
Oh wow.
And I will tell you that I have always been, I've always had a faith, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just gotten deeper and deeper since this experience happened. And I have learned that for me, I used to believe in like coincidences and serendipity. And now I really truly do believe everything is guided by God. That our meeting
Okay.
tonight, Ron, it is just that's not a coincidence. And the
Right.
way the book even became published is, it was a miracle in itself. And I hated
Mm-hmm.
writing the book. I did not like it at
Mm-hmm.
all. I'm a very kind of go getter. I make a list every night before I go to bed of what I've got to do the next day. I get up and I just
Oh
start
wow.
going. And the book would always go to the very bottom every day because it was painful. It was really painful to
sounds like
write. It was hard.
sounds like you're a writer.
Well, I guess now I am. But I didn't like do it. But at the end of the day, I thought, I just feel really called to do it. And then I had this publisher, and she was pushing to publish it, and we got it done. And then I just thought, oh my God, what the hell did I do? We are putting out this book, and it's literally like my inner thoughts and my journal writings. And
Wow.
then I got super nervous and
Mm-hmm.
started kind of freaking out a little bit. And then again, just a calmness came over, and it was like, it all happens for a reason. And I mean,
Yep.
even coming here to North Carolina, so
Mm-hmm.
much good has come out. I've met so many amazing people, but yeah, it's been an incredible, incredible journey. And so
Wow.
I tell people, and you are not alone with your struggles. Obviously, lots of people do. I tell my kids all the time. I actually lost my high school, college boyfriend in a car accident when I was 21. So this was not my
Oh, wow.
first, this touch with grief. And
Yeah.
I remember right after Matthew died, I was driving the children to school and it hit me. And I said, "Oh my God, have you guys ever even been to a funeral?" And they were like, "No,
Wow.
Mom." And I'm like, "Oh God." And now they're going to their father's. So I just said, "Well, here's what's going to happen. That you're going to get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
attention on you, and everybody's going to want to kind of be around you and stuff. But then afterwards, we're going to come home and it gets real hard because people go back to
Yeah.
their normal lives." I said, "But I'll never forget Noni." That's my mom, their grandmother. They call her Noni. I said,
Mm-hmm.
at Scott's funeral, after everybody left, when they were putting him into the ground, I made my mom go back with me to the cemetery. And I'm just standing there sobbing. And she looked at me and she said, Betsy, you only have two things in this life. And that's yourself and your faith. And everything else can be
Mm.
taken away from you. And that was really a turning point in my life because that's really true.
Right.
We can lose our kids, our animals can die, our pets can die, our spouses can die. We can lose all of our money and our homes, and terrible things can happen. But if you have your faith, you have hope that things will get better, and they do get better.
Yeah. Whew.
I
Betsy.
know. It's heavy.
No, no. Look. On behalf of every human on the planet, thank you for writing that book. And let's move on to the next photo.
Okay.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.